Good evening and welcome to Sparkle of Light Spiritual Chat Show. And tonight's guest, we have the lovely Stuart Latimer. Now, Stuart has been a spiritual medium for many years and he's also a healer. And he has travelled many places doing his mediumship work and healing. He's also done online work as well in workshops. And recently, and over the past year or so, he's worked in America online and is also got a great support of people around him that love his work, love his healing. I, for one, was one who got healing from Stuart many years ago, and in fact just recently as well. So he's a lovely man, and I would like to welcome Stuart to the show, and then we can explain and go, Stuart, what here we are. Yeah, then we can carry on and explain where it's all came from you, because I know your mum as well, Mary. It's Mary, wasn't it? Your mum's name? Yeah. I know your mum. I know your mum was a spiritual medium, and I know she was also a healer as well. So it's kind of ran in the family, hasn't it, with you?
I think I would have to accept that now.
Yes. There was a point probably you never. Yeah.
I think it was an evolutionary thing how it came through, evolved from my mum and probably from her mum as well. So yeah, I've come to accept that and love it for what it was.
Yes. So tell me, Stuart, where did it all begin for you? Did you connect with spirit world as a child, or was it later on in years when you developed that way?
Well, like quite a lot of mediums, I first started to see spirit around the age of 7. In fact, it was quite disturbing, and I remember crying, and my mum coming into the room and saying, reassuring me that it was all right. But that was just the start. As each time that happened, my mum would always be there to support me and let me know what was going on. And as I grew up, I started to see more and more spiritual activity and hear things. I even got to the point where I sometimes liked, just before going to bed, seeing the faces appearing and coming and going. And that was just normal for me. It just didn't seem to stop. And again, each time my mum would explain this had happened to her, and indeed happens to other people. So that's how lucky I was that I had somebody to support me, and who would eventually be, I would regard my mum as a mentor.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, with regarding your mum, do you think she inherited it from maybe her mother or father? Do you think it went even beyond?
There's every possibility. I remember my grandmother reading tea leaves, so I think my grandmother had quite a lot of that ability. In those days, there was a large fear factor about showing that type of thing, and yes. even with my mum, nobody around the family knew that my mum was regularly attending a spiritualist church in Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
So right. she was quite quiet about it as well.
Yeah. So is this Glasgow Association you're talking about up in Glasgow?
Yes. And Berkeley Street.
And Berkeley Street as well. Yeah. Yes. But do you not find that people were quite quiet about it back then? They kept that to themselves where they would go to?
Yes, I think it's taken and now it's taken quite a long time for people to accept it as a normal thing in life.
Yeah.
And that's happening more and more. I mean, I play golf on a regular basis, and everybody in the golf club knows that I do this, and it doesn't bother anybody, and there's no secrets to it either. So that's a big wholesale change in people's attitudes, I think.
Yeah.
And that probably can translate throughout the whole of Britain, certainly.
Yeah. I think things are changing though. People are wanting and they're looking for something. as well. And they're probably, without realizing it, they're actually reaching within to themselves, their higher selves, for answers without actually maybe realizing that. Would you agree on that, Stuart?
I would, because there's the pandemic has certainly allowed that sort of attitude to prevail, which is great. There's many people on their own who need support, and have found spiritualism as a support. You may even be with other people and feel alone, but spiritualism is there to help you.
That's right.
I've found it in my life, and a lot of people now ask me that, how it's helped me. So it's very much fundamental in my life now.
Yeah. It's part of life, isn't it? Becomes part of life,
The spiritual world just want to be acknowledged. They want to be heard. They want to help everybody. They want to help people on their individual spiritual journey, which, after all, I believe everyone's here to do. We're not just here to go up in a puff of smoke and never be heard of again. We're here to work. We're here to learn and teach and just grow generally.
Yeah.
And that's what the spiritual world wants.
Yeah. I mean, I know you personally, and I know we go way back, but I mean, I can remember years ago us sitting in a closed circle together, and the energy in the room was amazing. It was amazing, and I mean, I loved that even back then, and I feel it was really good. I feel that we kind of miss out on that a little bit now, where we don't have the same kind of home circles as we used to have compared to now. A lot of circles are more at a centre or a church, but not so much at home as it used to be.
Yeah, I would agree. I've been asked that as well. If I was going to start a group or not, and I know other people have been asked that, but it's quite difficult because of the commitment. You need a lot of commitment.
You do.
But I would agree with if it wasn't for the development class I went to, I certainly wouldn't have quite a lot of the knowledge I hopefully gained.
Yes.
That with the different activities you can do in a development circle, like transfiguration or regression or healing and mediumship.
Yeah.
But particularly meditation.
Yeah.
Meditation is the key to accessing your third eye. It's the key to. It's like a paint palette that's been created for you to use. So the imagery is better when you do mediumship, if that's what you want, or indeed healing. That's what meditation does, and it can take you in places that you couldn't possibly go to otherwise.
Yeah.
And the meeting of minds of long ago, to get the knowledge from people that are long past, it's just quite something that what meditation can achieve.
Yes,
but
it's powerful.
Very, very, very powerful. But that's it's also what it can bring to somebody who's in trouble, who needs help. Meditation can provide that, I believe.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it gives you so much peace of mind, and it connects you to your higher self, and just takes you away from any stress or worry that's going on in your mind, because your mind can play havoc.
Yeah, if you can even lower your vibration by meditation and go to a beach or wherever you choose to go for even the briefest of moments, that's giving your mind relief, or your physical existence relief from all the other problems that are around you. So if you can do it for 10 minutes here or there, then the benefits will be tremendous to that person. They will be. I always go back to meditation, because meditation is where I've found many of my answers. So I perhaps don't do it enough, and perhaps I only do it when I'm feeling troubled in some way. But that's something I have. I'm not alone. That's
Yes.
what I mean. I'm not alone.
Well,
I've got somebody else to support me.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
that. So that's how I
I'm a
use it.
bit like, yeah, sorry, I'm a bit like you as well. I love going to the water, the beach or the loch side. And, I love going there. There's something about it. It just brings me back grounded again. It just brings me back down a little bit to realizing that there is a lot more there that I need to perhaps look at on for myself, and it just gives me healing. It gives me healing. The water gives me healing. And I know golf with the freedom of golf for you, I know it grounds you, and that's your passion.
Yes, however badly I play, it certainly is my passion. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at golf, but I still do. I love the fresh air and I love being out there. And it's nice meeting my friends who are not judgmental, particularly of what I do. So I love that. I'm very pleased about that.
Yeah, and it's a connection with other people away from what we would normally do with our own spiritual work. So it's a different, isn't it? It's kind of different with other friendships as well. It takes you away from that. So I can understand why that would maybe give you a little bit of more freedom and peace of, okay, this is Stuart time now. This is for me.
I can choose to communicate with the spiritual world, although they're always around anyway, whether I like it or not. None of us have a choice in that. They are everywhere about. They are asking you to take a leap of faith almost every day in the way you go about how you speak to somebody or all this type of thing. You're being asked to. They're always a step ahead of us. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
There's more predetermined in front of us than we actually realize to enable us to carry on our spiritual journey.
Yeah. Tell me about your mum. Now, I know your mum played a huge part in your life with spiritualism. And I know she was a medium as well.
She really didn't regard herself as a medium, although because she didn't want to go out and do churches and do demonstrations. She didn't want that aspect of it. She didn't, but people used to come and see her and get the wisdom of my mum. And she also used tools like iridology. She studied iridology, and as well as going to India 3 times to.
Can I just stop you there? For those who don't understand what that is? What is that?
Iridology is the study of the eyes. The eyes tell you everything that's going wrong in your body, and the eyes are the first place you'll see. The eyes, every area of the eyes is divided into a part of the body, including the eyes themselves. And if, for example, there's a blackness somewhere, that'll reflect in the area of the eye that coordinates, say, with your lungs or with your heart or all that type of thing for your whole body. But it's an awful lot of work. My mum used to photograph people's eyes, obviously, and draw them herself because she liked drawing. So that, and then also tuning in spiritually when they came to see my mum. She did that. But she also loved transfiguration. She could do that with ease. And then ultimately she wrote a book, which I've brought here. This book. It's called The
Essence of Living by
Mary Latimer.
By Mary Latimer. Okay, The Essence of Living.
Yeah.
Is there a particular chapter in that book that you'd like to share with anybody?
Now that's interesting. Yeah, I know we discussed the thing, but in page 12, I think is quite illuminating because I hadn't really. When I first read it, it didn't mean anything to me because it was 16 years ago, if not 17 years ago, I first read it. but it resonates now more than it ever has. And it's quite simply, it's this. There will be much change in the physical level upon the earth in the form of disasters, some of which will be on a very large scale. There will be much flooding, volcanic eruptions, great illness, some of which will touch epidemic levels. Through these seemingly amazing adverse conditions, there needs to be change. So basically what my mum's saying is that the earth, and this has been predetermined to allow new spirits to come. So the people who have passed have done the earth a great service.
Yeah.
But it's also talking about the earth itself is weeping in pain. That's where the volcanic eruptions are, and the flooding. That's the earth reacting to everything that we've done to it, CO2 emissions and all that. And if you think of, my mum also relates the rivers to arteries and veins in our bodies as well. So the whole book is really about the human body and how it relates to the earth and how the earth relates to the human body.
Yeah.
And so it's not a spiritualist book in the sense. It's not about stories about people who have gone over and come back again or that type of thing. It's more really just a basic instruction about being more careful with what we say and what we do, the law of cause and effect, so that type of thing. So that's what the book's about. And my mum, up until she passed, so at the grand old age of 90, still wanted to know what I was doing and what church I'd worked and who I'd spoken to and what kind of messages I was giving. And she'd still give me a row for something and say, no, you should be doing this or that. So that's the type of person she really was. And she was well loved because of it.
Yeah. But what do you think your mum then thought at the time when you started to go out to churches and platform? Because that's something that she didn't want to do.
She was thrilled.
Yeah.
Absolutely thrilled. She wanted to see me work in Glasgow in Shakespeare Street in Somerset Place. So although she passed, that would probably be her proudest moment to see me do that in a church that she regularly attended.
Yeah.
But no, she used to wait. She knew I was coming and want to know all about if I did healing and how was it for me and tried to help me. Just generally tried to help me.
Yeah.
Did
you ever sit together? Did you sit together at any time and work together? Sit in a meditation or?
Yes. Oh, yes. That was that we did. I watched my mum do Transfiguration, and really, I was amazed, utterly amazed. To this day, I've never seen somebody fully transfigure that way through my mum. And it was a black African warrior, and my goodness, what a great looking man he was. But you could clearly see that's who it was. She spoke about different meditations, but she was particularly good when I was down. She would say to me, Stuart, you've been negative since you walked through the door.
Yeah.
You have to change that to be more positive. So what are you going to change? And she used to always say for every negative there's a positive, and in every negative find a positive.
Yeah.
So that's something I've never forgotten because it's so important.
Yes.
I don't know about you, or I do know actually that but I believe this year in particular has been extremely challenging for people.
Yeah.
And I mean and I don't think I'm wrong. I was talking about this in a church a little while ago, and everybody agreed that the things that had gone wrong in their life this year were they hadn't expected.
Yeah.
And everybody, including myself, were being tested to see what we were going to do about it. Were we going to stay and wallow in negativity, or were we going to make an attempt to find the positive and learn from everything that's happened?
Yeah.
Because I just believe that we're all being challenged.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been a funny year, though, hasn't it? There's been a lot of challenges with many people, but there's been a lot of changes as well, and a lot of good changes, and a lot of changes that maybe not so good, but we're learning from it.
Well, you learn from your mistakes, or you learn what, as I said, the law of cause and effect. Harsh words necessary because they rebound back to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're unkind to somebody, you're going to feel it more than them, because it's coming back to you.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful, I believe, and I've learned that. Don't be unkind. There's no need for it.
No. I think as well, it's something we're all needing is to bring in more love to the world. It's so important, that love gets spread to the world. Because it's since COVID as well. I mean, we have globally connected, which has been great. The beautiful, loving global connection we've all got with each other now. People we have met, who are now friends, and it's extended even from that as well to even talking about meeting up, in person. It has been lovely. It has been lovely. Something that may never have transpired.
I think this, what you're doing, and what other Debbie Romero's doing, and Jennifer Rose, they are really lovely people. And I don't know. I didn't know what I was going to expect, but it turns out they are really smashing people.
They are,
and they're willing to, and they're wanting to help people. And what more do you want? America is no different from us in the respect of there's people from every gamut there, and we're no different. We all need help.
Absolutely.
And I think of Zoom or StreamYard or whatever you like as being it'll help people who can't go to churches, people who can't leave their house, people who are bedridden.
That's right.
If this brings and brings a little light into their lives, then that's fantastic. It has to be. So
definitely.
What a powerful force for good it could be. Not negative, but good.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. No, I agree totally. Yeah. What about yourself, Stuart? Do you think you'll ever write a book?
Yeah. Well, if I showed you my pile of notes I've got sitting here, I've got every intention of writing my book and combining it with my mum's. That would be my next thing. I don't want to let my mum's book disappear. I want to bring it and incorporate it in a sort of double book.
Yes, that would be lovely.
It will take time, but there's no reason why I won't now, and I will start writing a bit more. I'm quite a lazy writer. Unless it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm feeling particularly motivated, which has happened. But I may be right or I may be wrong, or I may have thoughts that people might want to hear or might help them. I'm going to try, I think, and see what happens. And I can only do that But I've had great people advise me, including my mum, and I've met lots of people who are really interesting people who I would never have met if it wasn't through mediumship and healing.
Yes, yes.
Both
That's what I was going to touch on. I wanted to touch on that as well. The healing aspect.
Yeah.
When did that all start for you? The healing aspect of things.
Again, I'm probably guilty of mentioning my mum too much, but my father used to do healing, and he loved healing. So I should mention him.
Yes, yes.
But I had to go back to my mum and then to a certain extent my dad and ask. I knew I had to do something with my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt I had to do something, and I didn't really know what it was because there wasn't a heat. There's an energy builds up in me, and perhaps I can demonstrate it in a little while. But if I've got time, and there was a desperate need within me to find out what was I supposed to do with this energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I started on a journey. I didn't expect to become a medium. I, as I said, went to development group as a healer to develop my healing, not to work as a medium. That was never my intention.
Yeah. But
the healing aspect just started to grow and grow. And also I got people were kind enough to say that it had quite a large an effect on them. So that again was something was very encouraging, and it allowed me to keep going. So now I try and hopefully combine both aspects of healing and mediumship in my demonstrations because it's the same energy, I believe, but it's the intention. It's the intention that counts. That's the most important thing, is what you're wanting the energy to do to heal. And when you do it without thought of recompense, then healing will work. But if I did it and expect to get some form of recompense, then it won't work. And if the person I'm hoping to try and heal doesn't, well, at least heal into a degree, doesn't come at least 52% of the way, then it will be less effective. They have to be involved. They have to want to do it as well.
Yeah, I'd want to accept it as well. Distance healing as well. I mean, I know that you also do distance healing, and I know you have done many a time. Yeah. So what I wanted to touch on as well was, I mean, I know you did a workshop in America, and the distance healing, everybody could feel that, and they could receive it. So for those who don't understand what distant healing is, then can you explain how that works, where the person doesn't have to actually be sat right next to you to receive the healing?
Yeah, there are the overriding principle is energy follows thought. That's so energy can instantaneously be transferred to you, and you're not physically in front of me, but I can do that. And my hand is starting to feel your forehead, the heat on your forehead, which I think you can start to feel now. Can you feel anything now?
Not yet.
There you are, hold on.
Yeah, I can feel it now.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I can feel it now.
So that's how distance doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter.
I can feel it.
It's the energy that's all around us that I'm tapping into.
Yeah, I can feel it.
You should feel it going across your shoulders now as well. But another way it can work, distance healing, is you imagine the person you're wanting to receive healing being surrounded by a white light. it's almost like being held in stasis of some kind. So you can do that, and that the body will pick that up.
I can still feel that.
Yeah,
I can still feel that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
So that's one way of doing it, is just imagining. For example, I couldn't go to a hospital to help a friend, but I could send them light and imagine the person, my friend, in light.
Yes.
And that then is just as effective. Although I can also go to that person's room if I choose to as well, which is even more powerful. And go
How
around.
do we do that? How does that work then? How does?
Because I just visualize a room. A room, for example, that person was in hospital. So I know roughly what a hospital room looks like.
Yeah.
So what I do then is I see myself walking around this person's bed.
Yeah.
And I use my light and my energy to slowly go around the person's body. It's almost like if you like, I'm visualizing them asleep.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I totally understand that.
I'm connecting with the white energy to their own aura, and I then can heal the aura, or try to, because when somebody's not well, the aura can dip and it can peak.
Yeah.
So that tends to smooth it out a bit more.
Yeah. I mean, it is known that we do apparently have that gift within ourselves to heal ourselves. But it's more the mind, isn't it, that can stop that from happening because of that self-doubt of that won't work.
As a simple exercise, you could imagine a white wall, and you have got a paint pot, and if you painted the wall red, let's say, for example, now if you didn't like that color red, you could change it to a color you liked.
Yeah.
Well, the red, okay, that's part of the chakras everyone talks about. But what it's doing is it's telling your body to work. It's telling your body you want your body to be to improve.
Yeah.
So in color terms, I don't use it strictly as in the chakra way. I use it as to find out what color can help someone and where it's dull, and then I can work on that. So I would start with the feet area, for example, and that would be red. And if I thought it was dull, I would try.
Red is the root chakra.
Yeah. So I would work there to see if I could improve the red, or talk to them about it. And they can. You need their input as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because if they're kind of disbelieving the healing's going to work, then it probably won't work, because their own mind in itself will have created that physical block.
Unfortunately, you need to demonstrate it, hence the hand, because you can't deny what's happening to you. But if I just turned up as Stuart Latimer, you wouldn't believe really what I can do, unless it was demonstrated. And not just me, many other people, I should say. It's just, that's how I work.
Well, I mean, I've got proof, because you have gave me healing in the past, and it was after I had my TIA at the time, and I noticed such a difference. I really, not right away. I mean, I did feel my body changing. I felt the heat. I felt spirit strongly around me. But afterwards, it was the best sleep I had that night. And during the days that followed, I actually felt stronger. I felt much stronger.
Oh.
And I did have a weakness on the left side of my leg, which got stronger as the days progressed. I felt so much better, physically and emotionally, after that healing. And it was only one session. It was only one session.
But you see, that's because you wanted that.
Yeah, I believed, you see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's where the negativity comes in. For if somebody comes and they don't believe, then I can't heal anybody who doesn't believe.
No, of course not.
Or rephrase that, who doesn't want it to succeed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
But there, as I said, there's many different ways for healing that other people do. I'm not exclusively
No.
anything really, but it's underused healing, very, very underused. And I
Yeah.
believe now, well, if you were
Mm-hmm.
in India, it would be it's commonplace,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and it will eventually be commonplace here too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll go to a doctor's surgery perhaps in 20, 30 years' time, and you'll go into the healing room.
Yeah. That would be good, wouldn't it?
That would be spectacular.
Oh, it would be fantastic. Yeah.
And perhaps the same in the hospital.
Uh-huh.
You know, what can be achieved? I don't know. I mean, how much can it help? Could it really, really help cancer? We don't know.
No, we don't know. No, we don't know.
But let's not be even negative about that. Let's say it's possible. It's possible. Every day miracles happen. Every day.
You just don't hear about them so much because, but let's face it, with medicine makes money, doesn't it? So, so you're not going to hear about the miracles that take place through self-healing or whatever type of healing that someone has experienced, because there's no money to be made in it, really, is there? So, you know, and I'm not discounting, I mean, medicine is important, you know, but there should be a balance between having a bit of both, I would say. Yeah.
Well, it's all for a reason. I mean, I don't know. I don't. Ultimately, I'll have to pass over to find out what the reason for it all is.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for everything. There's you know, and if it helps my spiritual journey, no matter whether it's mediumship or healing or advice or whatever, then I'm fortunate, very fortunate. But if I didn't do this, I would be far worse off than I am now. I mean, far worse off.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a better person for it than without it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And if my friends still want to play golf with me, then it doesn't bother them either. So I'll take that as a compliment and as a reassurance that they even think I'm doing the right thing. So that's by me.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I don't need. I'm perhaps if I was 20 years younger, but I don't need to have great monetary rewards.
No, I was going to ask you as well about the purpose, like of life in itself. You know, we've all got a purpose why we're here. You know, but it's some may know why they're here and why, you know, and what, you know, they're definitely being put on this earth and where the direction is going with it. But some people may not know why they're here, where they're going. How can that be found, do you think? Or is it possible?
At the very, very start, you feel there's a need to understand why you're here. And if you've asked that question, then that question has propelled you onto your spiritual journey. That question alone.
Yes.
We're all here at different stages of development. We all have to learn, and we're all here to go forward one way or another. We come to my meditation and what we've discussed with my mum. We go up and down like yo-yos to the spiritual world.
Yeah.
We come back and we have to try and fulfill our purpose for coming back. I'll probably illustrate that with a story in a minute, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
There is a purpose to that. Now, if you think about a lost baby or miscarriage, all that type of thing, or paedophiles and killing people, that's extremely hard to understand here. But in the spiritual world, they understand that. But I struggle with those type of things as well. The loss of a baby is a tremendous thing for anyone. I know this from my own personal feeling, but it's a tremendous thing. But on the other side, it's what people do to one another, to children. It's such a it goes against everything spiritually. I know.
Yes.
To be so bad to somebody. I've often gone in meditation, and the answer I've always had is we have to learn every aspect of our human and spiritual world life. That's the answer, but I wish it was better than that. But I'll tell you my story.
Please do.
When my son was around 1, my wife could never get to sleep, and so I had to sleep with him next door. And so my bed was beside his cot. It was terrible. He used to get up, and so it was a very restless baby. So that's why
I'm sure he's enjoying you telling us.
Well, I know, but he's heard it though, so the cat's out of the bag as far as that's concerned. But so one night I was woken up, and there was a man and a wee boy in our room, as clear as you are to me. He was in the room. I had to do this to try and really.
Nope. We lost you for a minute there.
So the man looked at me and just smiled. He ushered the wee boy to the cot that my son was in. He pushed the wee boy up and put his feet between the spars of the cot, and the wee boy held on to the top of the cot and looked over to see my son. The man said, "I told you Fraser would be all right." Fraser is my son. He lifted the little boy down, turned around and said, "Thank you" to me, and I've never seen him again. So that told me that Fraser, my son's pal, was worried about him in the airplane and has asked to come and visit him.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also told me that his name was always been Fraser. So that happening was like a light bulb moment to me.
Yes.
And I thought, I have to do more.
Well,
to respect that man and the little boy's journey. I have to do more to try and see what's at the end of my rainbow, and that's where I am with that.
Yes, I mean that is an incredible story. It is an incredible story. I hope everybody heard it properly. You cut off a little bit, but with the sound, but we got the crunch of it. It is incredible that you witnessed that, and how beautiful to witness that as well. You know,
it was, particularly as I wasn't expecting it.
No,
and I was allowed to witness it while I was awake.
Yes.
They probably could have done it without me being awake, and I wouldn't have been any the wiser.
That's right. It's obviously something that they wanted you to see. They wanted you to see it.
Yeah. So it was great. It was tremendous proof to me that there is a spiritual world and they
Mm-hmm.
care about everyone here.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's the truth of it, as far as I'm concerned.
Did you recognise the man at all?
No, I didn't know.
No.
And I know the wee boy, and I've never seen him since.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I mean, other small things have happened that have just kept me going a little bit more.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I think they probably happen to everyone. They just don't
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge it, or they just don't really realize what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I think spiritual enlightenment like that is beautiful. It's just lovely when you actually witness something that you weren't expecting to witness. You weren't
Yeah.
thinking about it, and never came into your mind. And something like that takes place, then you know for sure that had to do with spirit world.
Well,
You feel it
100%.
anyway. You feel
I
it.
was 100%. I've
Yeah,
never
absolutely.
I've never
Yeah.
thought anything else than that.
Uh-huh.
I witnessed something quite special.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So what I was going to ask you now is, what's the plans for Stuart now then? What have you got anything coming up for next year or the end of this year?
Well, yeah, I'm doing some churches, and I'm doing quite a few churches, and I shouldn't just say exclusively churches and meetings
Yes.
in the next sort of month or so, and also into next year.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I'll have to keep writing, and I really would like to move towards doing transfiguration mediumship.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I think that perhaps is where the future is, and that would be interesting to attempt, not as a sort of special event, although that's possible,
Mm-hmm.
but as a common, normal way of doing mediumship. Where can you imagine how Mary, for lack of another name, is in front of me saying she wants to see Margaret, her mum,
Mm-hmm.
and it's possible for Margaret to come through you or me or somebody
Mm-hmm.
else.
Yeah. Yeah.
How wonderful would that be?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I would like to see that kind of thing developed.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
I'll go with the flow. I will see what happens. I'm not, if I've got time, I'll do whatever I can do, but I'll still need to get better at golf again. I can't have this poor golf. That would be just a bit depressing for me.
Thing is though, you enjoy it, and that's the main thing,
Yeah,
enjoyment's so important.
the whole. I'm very lucky. I've got a lovely golf club and smashing people who are
Yeah.
there. So I've got, at the moment, all good. I would say that department,
Yeah.
apart from playing the blasted game itself.
Yeah.
And no matter how I try, no matter how I pray, it's not making any difference.
Yeah.
So I'll just have to go on with it. But I'm not going to stop. As far as I know, I'm not going to stop churches, provided I remain healthy and my family do, and I have their support. I've always had their support. Then
Yeah.
I'll keep doing Zoom or whatever comes along, and
Yeah.
whatever challenges. I've got to remember, we all have to be challenged in order
Yeah.
to grow.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
you getting me to do Zoom in America was a massive challenge, and being
Yeah.
accepted. So everything's a challenge as long as you accept the challenge and give it a go. I think
That's right.
that's
That's
the
right.
best way. That's the best way forward for me.
It's always good to try something,
But as long as it's not got any ego attached to it.
Yes, absolutely. That's right.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
you'll fail. You'll
absolutely.
fail.
You've got to have the right attitude of why you're doing it,
Yeah. But I
and
was
why you're going to go and do something. Is it to help that person, or are you really just doing it to help yourself? And that's the difference.
well. I don't like people who that's not fair. It's just a different type of mediumship. But sometimes what they wear is more important than the substance of their mediumship. If I put it that way, and that annoys me sometimes. But lovely mediums like the one you had at your centre the other night, lovely, genuine people.
Yeah,
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in a dark, rainy night in Scotland, all these people turn out, and that's great.
Yeah.
And I'll keep doing it for that reason. If there's 3 people, there's 3. If there's 60, there's 60. I don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. Just go on and do it.
Yeah, I always look at it as, even if there's only one person you help that night, then you've done the job for Spirit World. You know, I always look at it that way. I hope I can help more than one person that night, but if there is only one, then I've still done the job for Spirit World.
They're all special, the messages. They all take such a tremendous effort. You know, but yes, there are 1 or 2 where you know somebody has needed that message so much to enable to live their life a little bit better than they had an hour before that. Then that's
the light, don't they, really? Yeah.
That's to achieve that is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you get the joy back in. That's where you feel the love from the spiritual world, or whatever way you wish to look at it. That that's the recompense, if you like, for the right reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as I said, if money's your God, good luck to you, but it won't be mine.
No.
No.
Well, Stuart, I'd like to thank you for coming on to the show tonight. It's been an absolute delight to have a chat with you. And for anybody at all, I've been putting it on here as well. But if anybody would like to get in touch with Stuart, then he is contactable at latimerstuart@sky.com, Facebook or Messenger. So if anyone wants a reading or would like to book Stuart, or, well, probably not advice on golf, but anything else.
No, it's been, Alice, it's been great. Really, thank you for asking me. It's been a real pleasure.
Oh, it's been great to have you. It's been great to have you. And for anybody else also, this will be going on to YouTube as well. So please, if you can, like and subscribe. It's free. It just helps move on a little bit and gets it more publicized. This will also be going on to Spotify as a podcast as well. So, and that will be next Thursday at 8 p.m. They're always Thursday at 8 p.m. Okay, so feel free to join there. And before I forget, because I can't forget this, we have a weekend this week on Saturday, the 30th of September, and Sunday, the 1st of October, Ignite Your Soul. And we have workshops on the Saturday, and they start at 10:30 and finish at 5:30. If anybody would like to join, get in touch with me, please. Lunch is included also in it. And we also have an evening demonstration as well, where it will be myself and our lovely Nadia Bajami from Ireland, who's coming over. Nadia will be doing some workshops as well, as along with the demonstration in the evening. There will be private readings on the Saturday night. I think we've only got a couple or so, maybe 2 left. If anybody would like to book, please get in touch with me. And then on this Sunday as well, we have another workshop, and there's a full afternoon tea with that as well. So anybody who would like to get in touch, then the address is below there. So it's Spark of Light Spiritual Centre and School. And myself, Alice Trevorrow, who am spiritual medium, alicetrevor@gmail.com. It's going to be a great weekend of love, healing and upliftment, and Stuart will be one of the private readers on that night, along with Jeanette Shepherd. Okay, so it'll be a good night. So anybody wishing to come along, because you can pay at the door for the evening demonstration. And I'm opening it now because we've got a few spaces now for the workshop. So I'm opening it as well for Saturday workshop to come and pay at the door, because there is a few so places there if anybody would like to join us. So without any further ado, I'd like to say thank you so much, Stuart, for being our guest this evening. And I'd also like to say good night to everybody. And you know the usual, look after yourself and each other. That's so important. Good night.
Yeah. Thank you.